Waiting for Bill Bensley. How many of these have I done? Like 25? This has never happened before. Maybe because I'm excited. Did we do it? I love you. I feel so much better to see you. Can I hear you?
Hello. It actually speaks too.
Oh my gosh. I'm such a fangirl, and I'm sorry we had trouble connecting. Oh my goodness. What time is it in Bangkok, Bill?
It's 9 o'clock now, 9 o'clock in the morning.
9 in the morning, 7 at night here. But we've got so
great.
many people. We've got so many people watching. I've been bragging about you, but you know, in and out. What I wanted to say is that I've interviewed so many people on this Leader Livecast, but I'm a little bit clamped to interview you because you're kind of a design rock star. And first of all, what do we wear? What do you wear for Bill Bensley?
Well, I was going to wear my tiger prints too, but then, Chiritai took him out of the closet this morning. So he...
Well, I haven't seen your closets. I've been looking so much at your work. I saw a bathroom you did somewhere that's supposed to be like I don't know, a closet or something, a cedar chest. I don't know. It got a lot of attention, a bathroom. So am I right to say that you were born near Disneyland? Is that right?
Mickeymouse.
And let's see, Pomona College, Harvard educated, Bangkok based. You know what I'm thinking, Bill? I think your heart is with Cambodia. That's what I've read.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. Tell us, just to start off, about your gorgeous work in Cambodia with the hotel you own and what you're doing.
We started there about maybe 20 years ago, and I was hired to design the Hotel de la Paix, which is now the Park Hyatt.
Okay.
So I designed this beautiful hotel. In fact, I took a small stake in it as well with my great friend Sukun Tamprida. And when we opened that hotel, we didn't have anyone to work there because there was, it was so early in Cambodia, early opening up after, the atrocities that happened there. We had to open a hotel school. We had to train people how to work in a hotel.
They'd never been to one, right? So they didn't know. Yeah.
Right. So we made this great hotel school, and we got everybody organized with for the Hotel de la Paix. Then we opened up this little tiny homestay where Sukun and I could stay while we were building this. And it all worked out so great, but we didn't have the heart in order to close the school because the kids were learning from us, and then they were getting jobs in other places. Well, that grew into Shintamani. And so today, now we have a hotel school there that's graduated hundreds of people, and we've changed lots of lives, and by way of people visiting through the Shintamani Hotel and the foundation, we've built maybe 2,000, 3,000 homes, 3,000 wells. I've just started another new small loans program where, especially where, people can apply for a small loan, and then that changes lives. And you know what? We've done all these small loans programs. We've never had one family that's ever not brought the money back to us, back into the pot. It's amazing that the sense of community that we have there.
Yeah, and I read somewhere where the people are so eager that get trained, the employees, that you were hotel hit #1 in the world on TripAdvisor for service, right?
Right.
Because they're so dear and impassioned by it. But Bill, there's so much to say about you. First of all, that I've gotten to know some of your friends. We've interviewed Neil Jacobs, a great leader in the Global Wellness Summit. We've interviewed Stacy Shoemaker from Hospitality Design. She told us at the end of some big gala, everybody was tired. You got an award and you jumped off the stage and woke everybody up. So that was good. And then we're going to interview in a week or so Jackie Gifford from Travel and Leisure.
Oh, nice.
And I was just saying that your Capella Ubed, am I saying that right, was voted #1 hotel in the world in Travel and Leisure.
Yay! Hey!
Forget the Global Wellness Summit. I'm in PR. How in the world have you become such a PR darling? I mean, BBC, CBS, CNN, all the letters. How does that happen? I have a guess. You want me to guess?
Okay.
I think content is king. And if the stuff wasn't good, they wouldn't be coming after you, right?
Yeah, maybe.
That's humble. That's humble. All right. Well,
Yeah,
listen.
yeah, maybe. I honestly, I think I haven't done anything really good yet as far as the hospitality is concerned. But you know what? I think something's going to click and be nice, be really, really good soon.
Soon, huh? Okay. We'll hold our
Yeah,
breath. But listen,
yeah.
I love that the philosophy of your company is the more odd, the better. But I don't think it's odd. I think it's so delightfully, surprisingly elegant, in different ways, right? So, with all that said about all the awards that we can't list, we don't have time. Tell us where this is about coping in COVID. And I know you talked to our dear friend Beth McGroarty. She did a beautiful piece with you, but that was April. Now, how have things changed as the world is emerging from this pandemic? How has your business been transformed?
Well, you know what is that as soon as we knew, we knew that there was a problem. As soon as the Thai people knew that there was a problem. Thai people are Buddhist, as you know.
Right.
And Thai people tend to take care of other people first before they take care of themselves.
Right.
So we're very community oriented. So as soon as anyone knew, everyone strictly followed the rules. We all worked from home. We all wore masks. We're still wearing masks. I can go out onto the street. 100% of people are wearing masks, even though we are one of the seventh safest countries in the world.
Yep.
Even so, we're still, just because of this Buddhist philosophy of taking care of other people, so that I'm so very fortunate to live here in a
I'm
place.
going to come. I'm going to come. I
You
looked it
can.
up. We're not allowed. I'm sorry, California. I know. But I looked it up. It says Thailand has recorded fewer than 3,200 cases and only 58 deaths. Every death matters, but still. And Cambodia, only 141 confirmed cases and 0 deaths reported.
Yes.
Shocking,
Yeah.
right? Shocking.
It's wonderful. Now,
But
when we first found out, when I first found out that we're going to have a problem here, the first thing I did was went to buy test kits. So I bought test kits. This was back in April.
yeah,
And I bought test kits. So we tested 10 of my. So I have a company that I'm an architect. You know that, but I have a company of about 110 people. So what we did is I took the 10 most important project managers, tested everybody so that we felt comfortable, tested myself and so forth. We tested every week, and so that we could all work together. And from then we worked at various homes, and then gradually everyone started to come back into the fold. And as they come back into the office, we test and test and test. And everyone felt fine because, nobody had it. Nobody, yeah. So
and you knew it.
I'm sorry?
And you knew no one had it. That was the confidence that takes away from the anxiety too, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Right? But one thing I read about you, and it's really similar with a lot of us in the hotel industry, you traveled 30 weeks a year. You said that's 60% of your life. How has that changed now?
Well, we still travel on the weekends, but I'm not traveling at all. Well, very little for business. And you know what? We've got even a project in Antigua now, a brand new project since COVID started, and we've learned a new trick. You can't teach an old dog a new trick. Well, you sure as hell can. We've learned this new trick, and it's called Zoom, and we do Zoom probably 3, 4, 5 times a day now, where we're having these meetings, and I'm setting up this system where I have eyes and ears around the world. For example, This week, we're opening the new Capella Hotel in Hanoi. It's
Yep.
around the corner from the Opera House. 60 rooms. Every single room is different, and they're all about the opera figures, the people of opera at the turn of the century, because that's when the Opera House was built, 1907.
Amazing.
So every single room is different, and it is filled with objects of that period, and actual ticket stubs from operas that were held by those various people. But what my trick is, that I have the staff, they will take, in one room, they will take 50, 60, 70 pictures to snap, 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 snap. Every single detail. I'm looking at all of these pictures, and then I write on top of the pictures, okay, well, move this desk 4 inches to the right, move this to the left, hang that picture up higher. So while I can't get there, it's a hell of a lot easier to get there. There's other ways to do it.
There are, and we all have to learn. You know, I'm telling you, we're scared to push a button. We think we have to touch and feel. But do you see, since COVID, there's a bit of a boom in designing and dreaming for the future?
It's certainly a boom for me. You know, it's been so great not to have to get on a damn plane and go present for 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I spend 2 days, 3 days to sprint for 2 hours, and it's so much more efficient to do it the way we're doing now.
Yeah.
And you know, even if we're all immune in a year's time from now, I'm still going to do it the same way. I've learned a new trick, this old dog.
Yeah, and you know, you also said something about travel. How do you think travel is going to change post-COVID?
I think people are going to travel better. I think that they're going to spend more, but they're going to travel not so many times during the year. I think that people are going to travel to places where they can be, hopefully, where they can be in nature and isolated, solid, and do what I do. Is I love to go to Mongolia every year, and I isolate myself for 4 or 5 weeks. Sometimes I will walk for 300 kilometers over a month, and I don't see another person. Right? That's what I love to do. So I think that the trend is going to be to traveling to places of isolation, to traveling better for longer periods of time, and have traveling less, which would be great for the planet.
Great for the planet. And you talked about, even in Thailand, the bust-in tourists that were crushing, just so they could see this mass tourism crushing the coral reefs. We don't need that, right? The planet doesn't need that.
The planet does not need, what the planet needs is high yield and low volume tourism.
I think we need to write that down. Now,
Yeah.
You also said on your website, you say we don't design hotels just to put heads in beds, but if you want to do a project with a purpose, be it environmental or social, let's do it together. What do you mean by that, Bill?
Meaning that there's far too many, the vast majority of projects that come across my desk are projects that are put there saying, you know, come Mr. Bill, help us make some money.
Yep.
And that's why people get into hotels. And I'm trying to change the industry a little bit in that I think that because when you go to a hotel go to a resort for 2 weeks, 1 week, even 1 day, it's a captured audience that you have. So I think that without sounding horrible, I think that hotels have the ability to be like the churches of the future, places that teach somebody something, even if it's only about adopting in a way, adopting the orphanage next to you or the preschool that's next to you, even if it's only about teaching about cherry trees. It's about doing something to teach something. It's about doing something that is not just about maximizing your profit.
Right.
And that for me, with Chintamani, has, we would do it anyways, but that for me has been a very successful platform, and people love it. People love to come to our hotels because they know that, you know, their stay is going to make somebody else's life a lot better. Simple as that.
And it's so funny that you said that, because I also read where sometimes when you just given a project, you have a model that you don't want to have a style. Like I was a dance critic, and you could always tell a Balanchine ballet, or you know, you can tell a Neil Simon play, but you don't want that. You want to be different each place. And one of the things you said you do is go to the local temples or churches, right, to learn.
Right, very much so. And you know why?
No.
Traditionally, the places of worship, no matter where you are in the world, that's where us as a civilization, that's where traditionally we put the most energy into, the most design energy. That's been the center of our universe for the last 2,000 years. It's changing now. Now, you know, now we put more energy into shopping centers, but yeah. In order to understand a people, I will go to the temples of Japan. I will go to the temples of Bali. I'll go to the synagogues of Sri Lanka, etc., to understand what they were thinking in the past. And because that offers me a great understanding of vernacular architecture and those symbols and the forms.
So I'm going to forget our main purpose for being here, because I could just go on about your designs. But tell us, Bill, I read somewhere where the hotels were shut down, but that you own, but you kept trying to pay the monthly salary because it meant so much to the kids who worked there. But through all of this, what's been your toughest day as a leader and your most encouraging day?
Oh, yeah, the toughest day has been really, you know, for our 4 hotels in Cambodia, it's been, you know, reducing their salaries because they don't make a lot of they don't make enough at all. But we know now that, you know, Cambodia is probably not going to be open up for another year or so.
Wow.
You know, and you know, they want to keep, you know, 100 cases or so. In Thailand too, we don't want to necessarily put economics in front of the lives of our elderly. You know, that all lives matter.
Yeah, so true.
You know, and you know, we both Cambodia and Thailand, we're agrarian societies, so that means that if we don't have jobs in tourism, we go back to the fields, right? There's 76 million of us in Thailand, and everyone's going back to the fields, and because everybody has, no one in Thailand says, you know, I ask, where do you live? Where are you from? No one will ever say I'm from Bangkok, because this is a place of transience. Right. Everyone will say that I'm from, you know, this place in Isan, that place, I'm from the north, I'm from the south. And when you say, when you go home, it's always back to those places. And those places are always associated with farms. So we have this innate comfort that no one's going to starve.
Oh, that's so nice. It's like an island culture too. It really is. Now, right. Tell me what I read in your interview with Beth, how you feel about the planet now. But what's been your most encouraging thing since the shutdown?
Well, you know what? Those first couple of weeks, I was shit scared.
We all were. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, oh fuck, you know, we're never gonna get another, because all of my clients were dropping off 1, 2, 3, 4. Everyone was scared.
Yeah.
And then I have this wonderful client his name is Calvin Iyer, and he invented Bitcoin, or is certainly one of the founders of Bitcoin. And I've done several houses for him around the world. And he said, Bill, can you work on a project in Antigua? And last year I told him, no, I'm not going to work in the Caribbean because I'm too busy out here in Asia. And this year he asked me again, Bill, can you work in the Antigua? And I said, hell yes, I'll work there. Yeah. Yeah.
Very attractive. Yeah.
Yeah, very attractive. So that was my happiest day when he asked us to do this project, because all of a sudden, you know, I see all the bills paid for all 140 of us to, you know, for the next year or so. So that was the happiest day. And I want to tell you about this Antigua project. Just a minute. You got a minute?
I do, because we're here for you. Yeah, we don't care about the 10 minutes. We're here. It's our night.
Okay. So this project is really cool in that it's taking everything that I know about the hospitality and putting it all into one project. And we've got this great site. It's on Jolly Beach in Antigua. I don't know if you know Antigua very well, but it's
I have been, yeah.
Jolly Harbor. It's next to Jolly Harbor. And what we're doing there is we're making 60 bungalows, 60 rooms. And each bungalow is 50 square meters of air-conditioned area, more or less, 50 to 100. Every room has water collection on the roof. It has solar power. It has cross ventilation. It has everything that I wrote about in my white paper on sustainability, everything. About how to build sustainably. It has a big tank for water underneath, because it's a big problem in Antigua. It has, so we've got 100 square meters of air-conditioned area. It has about 100 square meters of porched area. And every bungalow has about 700, 800 meters of private garden. So we're building these beautiful little estates within their own vegetable gardens. So every house has a garden that's associated with a particular vegetable, right? So we're going to be sustainable within and growing all of our own vegetables. Now, the kicker is that every single one of these bungalows, of course, you know, I need more work to do, so I made them all different. But the difference is that we are celebrating the characters and the people that influence the history and the people that are living today of Antigua. So it's a resort built for Antiguans, about Antiguans. And I think this is the first time ever in the Caribbean that we're really celebrating the contemporary local people of the Caribbean, as opposed to Captain Lord Nelson.
Right. I can't remember who settled Antigua, but I think it's kind of dry, right? So the water becomes very important there.
Right.
Now, you know, you said something about a COVID silver lining to Beth that I want to talk about for a minute. No one would know this, but unless they look at your clothes, but you're such a wildlife lover and conservationist. I was looking back at the jacket you wore on stage in Singapore. And I want you to tell us what's happening with wildlife consumption, you think, as a result of COVID.
Well, you know what we have seen an increase in since a lot of people have lost their jobs again. People are going back into the forest and back into the countryside from the few places that are populated densely in Cambodia, and we've seen an increase in wildlife poaching. Yeah. So, you know, in the last 10 years or so, we've seized 700 today. Now it's 757 chainsaws.
Jeez.
And you can imagine what a chainsaw can do.
Right.
What a chainsaw can do. So even though we have no income from these hotels, we're still paying for the rangers as part of 110 rangers that carry AK-47s to keep the poachers at bay. And it's getting harder and harder now since April. But we got to do it. We can't stop, because if we stop now, then all of the gibbons that have come back and the slow lorises, all the animals, the civets and so forth that have come back into our property of the Southern National Forest, Cardamom National Forest, they'll all be eaten. And the pangolins that are there on site, we know that the pangolins, they've been tested. We know that they have their own COVID. So by eating the pangolins, they are ingesting COVID. People are ingesting this type of COVID, and that could start a whole new
Thing. Yeah.
problem again. So
Just so people understand, Bill, the chainsaws are meant to cut down the forest, right?
that's
So
right.
that would take the wildlife's home away, right? So you're
That's right.
trying, I think you said your plot in Cambodia is as big as Central Park. Isn't that what you said?
Yeah,
About
it's
the
bigger.
size of, bigger
Yeah.
than Central Park. So, and I also read where you said China has declared that wildlife is illegal to catch and eat. So that might help, right?
That's going to help a lot.
Yeah. So we need to look for these bright spots. And I think another one is nature. How were the skies when everything was shut down there in Thailand?
Well, you know what? 37 years now living here, I've never seen cleaner skies. And in February, everybody was wearing masks in February, but because of the pollution was so bad, and now we're wearing masks for other reasons. But the skies is fantastic. Yeah, it's blue sky, and the waters are clear. I was down in Phuket yesterday, and the porpoises are coming back. We've never had a greater amount of turtles coming back to the shores in Phuket. Never had a greater amount. So it's a really good thing. There's a great silver lining.
So the earth is breathing. That's such a great thing. Now
Yeah.
tell me, Bill, I know that nature inspires you, but what do you read or what do you listen to that you find inspiration with?
You know, this last month, I read a fantastic book. It was called Desert Solitaire, and it's by Edward Albee, and it was written in 1968 about
Wow.
the. Have you read it? Have you read that one?
No, I've read Edward Albee, but not that. Nope.
This one is, if you're a conservationist like I am, this is, and I should have read it before. This is the book to read because it's rude, it's heartwarming, it's passionate, it's opinionated, and I think it's probably the number one book that any conservationist should read because it's all about how to do it, how to make a national park really breathe and bark and quack properly.
Well, tell us just before we stop describing, we could go on all night describing your creations, but tell us about the World Wild Human Zoo in China. Speaking of animals.
Yeah, that's that. Oh, yesterday that took a great big turn. Yeah, I just got having constant meetings with those. But the history, the history is that my very good client in China, and actually Zhanjiang in southeast China, came to me and said, "Mr. Bill, we want to build a zoo." And I said, "Okay, well, that's good. You know, I hate friggin' zoos, but let's talk about this." So we've got this huge piece of land, something like 20,000 hectares. What would that be? 40,000 acres.
Yeah.
And they want to do something with this. So because I own Chintamani Wild, and I know that there's a huge problem of the wildlife being poached in the Cardamom National Forest and being exported to China for the riches, for to be eaten there.
Wealthy palates, yeah.
For wealthy palates. Now it's more going towards Vietnam, but so I thought, what can we do to educate people? So I came up with the idea of, okay, well, let's do a zoo, guys. Let's go ahead and make a zoo, but let's make this a top shelf sanctuary for the animals in the zoos of China. And that's one of the things I did is I went to China and I spent about 2 weeks there looking at every single zoo from Beijing all the way to the south. And you know what? It's pretty damn bad. I mean, they've got Siberians, wolves, going back and forth in this tiny little
thing,
wire cage, and it's just pathetic.
Yeah.
So I came up with this idea of taking all non-predators. That's the key, non-predators, to be able to release them onto this big piece of land, and then to build around that piece of land, actually buildings hotels, and the Four Seasons is with us. The St. Regis is with us. Waldorf Astoria is with us. Hyatt's with us.
Is that all?
And design, yeah, and we're designing everything. But basically, we're creating this wall around this huge piece of property where we have an inside bedroom. Every room has an inside bedroom, but it also has a sleeping porch with a mosquito net.
Love it.
That you can hear the animals. You can hear them moving and so forth. And then what we'll do is we'll create salt licks, and then moonlit salt licks and watering holes so that people can see the animals at night. They'll be drawn towards us like you do in Africa.
Yep.
Like you do in Botswana and Namibia and such. So taking all the principles I know from Africa back to this. So the way that we take the animals, we fill up the park is very sustainable in that we are not going into the wilds and bringing animals here, but we're taking the animals that are available, and they are available. And we've got the full backing of the communist parties of China in order to be able to fill up in a sustainable manner, this big reserve.
And
so it's all happening.
But the really cool thing is, I worked at a hotel in Hawaii years ago that had a dolphin swim program. It was controversial, but I will tell you what happened. When you touched and felt those dolphins or saw them up close, they lived like wealthy people in Manhattan. They were hand-fed. They had a beautiful home. Then you remember that they're out there in the ocean and they're ambassadors you have to take care of. So this is brilliant, Mr. Bensley. Now listen, I want to know what gives you hope, but one thing we have to talk about first is the importance of Thai massage. Do you still get Thai massage every night?
Oh, you betcha.
I thought, this man is brilliant. No wonder his brain is firing. If you have Thai massage every night, there you go. And for our audience, tell me how you think wellness should be approached at a resort. How should wellness be approached?
How to say, I want to go back to this project that I'm just designing now in Antigua.
Yeah.
And I'm doing something now with wellness and the spa there that's very different than I ever have before. And what we're creating is on this site is we're creating a valley. And it's a valley that is totally contained visually. It's 200 meters long by about 100 meters wide. And we're creating 24 Taino buildings. And the Tainos are the people that lived in the Caribbean before Christopher Columbus came with diseases, et cetera, and wiped them all out.
Yeah.
I'm working with an archaeologist that has actually located the Taino footings, and they understand from the footings that are there, they can see the type of buildings that they were building. So what I'm building are replicas of and inspired by what that was there before. So we've got these 24 very small, of course, grass roofed and wooden buildings that are set within this valley. And within the valley is only the plants that the Tainos were growing for their own consumption. So it's a farm built with the same materials that the Tainos would have built their homes in the same scale that they were being. So you can, as a guest, you can go back into time and understand what it was like to live in the forest in one of their homes and eat what they were eating long before the white man came. And of course, within that, you have all the this sort of thing, all the cosmetics and all the bells and whistles.
Bells and whistles, yeah.
Of a modern spa, exactly. But
you said, Bill, you don't need to send to Paris for beauty products or bring in traditions from, I don't know, New York City. You need to hug the earth and understand where you are.
And grow it there.
Grow it there. Oh,
Local.
Okay, so I forgot to say in this recording that Departures Magazine said the Asia luxury hotel boom belongs to Bill Bensley. So we want you to look our way too. Come to the West a little bit sometime. But
I'm available.
Tell us why you tell your people if you can't use a pencil, you can't think. Don't come digitally to me with your creativity, right?
You know, that is so, I really believe that. And I many architects don't, right? But there's a lot of people, like young people, especially young Thai people and Indonesian people. We've got an office in Bali that come and apply for jobs, and they show me all of these portfolios that are computer generated. And then I ask them, okay, well, can you please draw this?
With its round surfaces, yes, yes.
With its round surfaces. And I can tell within 10 minutes if somebody can understand the forms of this monkey. And if they can't understand the forms of a monkey, then they can't design architecture. I know that from 35 years of experience. So if you can draw this, come and see me.
Well, that's pretty cool. And I also, question I'm very selfishly asking, did the Remote Lands Bensley Trail Expedition happen in February to March? Did that happen where you took people? No, because of COVID. Okay, so when there's a vaccine, we're going to come with you. What were you leading?
Good.
You were leading people to like 6 of your favorite resorts in Asia, right? And all these out-of-body nature experiences. Okay. Yeah. It's a goal. It's a goal. So we have to end. This started as a 10-minute conversation. We moved it to 20. Now we're nearly an hour because it's you, Bill. So tell us, as we're going to keep your creativity in mind and anchor that doesn't matter where you are, you can still be creative. What gives you hope every day? What words of wisdom can we hold on to from you, Bill?
My hope is that sooner or later, I'm going to make a difference in the field of hospitality. I'm going to come up someday with this big breakthrough. I don't know what it is yet. Yeah, but that's my hope, is that because we've got so many wonderful people, such a great talent in our studio, and we've been working together for such a long time that as a collective collaboration, it's somehow we're going to make a difference.
I have a feeling that you're on that path, sir.
I hope so.
If you haven't already arrived. Listen, thank you for being an inspiration to us, for knowing that things can work out, and to stop and smell the beauty in nature, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, thanks for spending your morning with us. And you could have taken your whole shirt off. It doesn't matter, Bill.
I could have?
Sure, come on.
Why not?
Why not? Okay.
I'm going to go for a swim now.
I think it's a gorgeous idea. Okay, we'll see you in Bangkok, all right?
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks a lot, Bill.